Reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 26. Avatarahi asankyeya Hare Sattva Niderdvija Yata Vidasvina Kulya Sarasasyu Sahasrasaha Avatarahi asankyeya Hare Sattva Niderdvija Yata Vidasvina Kulya Sarasasyu Sahasrasaha Avatarahi asankyeya Hare Sattva Niderdvija Yata Vidasvina Kulya Sarasasyu Sahasrasaha
Avatarahi asankyeya Hare Sattva Niderdvijaha Yata Vidasinaha Kulya Sarasasyu Sahasrasaha
Avatarahi Sankheya Hare Sattva Niderdvijaha Yatha Vidasinaha Kulya
Sankheya Hare Sattva Niderdvija Yata Vidasinaha Kulyaha Sarasa Sahasrasaha
Avatara hi asankheya
Hare Sattva Niderdvija
Avatara, incarnations.
Incarnation
He, certainly, asankheya, innumerable, Hare, of Hari the Lord, Sattvanide, of the ocean of goodness, Dvija, Brahmans, Yata, as it is, Abhidasina, inexhaustible, Kulya, rivulets, Sarasa, of vast lakes, Syuha, are, Sahasrasaha, thousands of. Translation. O Brahmanas, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources of water. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The list of incarnations of the personality of Godhead given herein is not complete. It is only a partial view of all the incarnations. There are many others, such as Sri Hayagriva, Hari, Hamsa, Prishnigarbha, Vibhu, Satyasena, Vaikuntha, Sarvabhauma, Vishwaksena, Dharmasetu, Sudama, Yogeshwara, Brihat Bhanu, and others of the bygone ages. Sri Prahlad Maharaj said in his prayer, My Lord, you manifest as many incarnations as there are species of life, namely the aquatics, the vegetables, the reptiles, the birds, the beasts, the men, and demigods, etc. Just for the maintenance of the faithful and the annihilation of the unfaithful. You advent yourself in this way in accordance with the necessity of the different yugas. In the Kali Yuga, you have incarnated garbed as a devotee. This incarnation of the Lord in the Kali Yuga is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There are many other places, both in the Bhagavatam and in other scriptures, in which the incarnation of the Lord as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explicitly mentioned. In the Brahma Samhita also, it is said indirectly that although there are many incarnations of the Lord, such as Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Matsya, Kurma, and many others, the Lord Himself sometimes incarnates in person. Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not, therefore, incarnations, but the original source of all other incarnations. This will be clearly explained in the next shloka. So the Lord is the inexhaustible source for innumerable incarnations, which are not always mentioned. But such incarnations are distinguished by specific extraordinary feats which are impossible to be performed by any living being. That is the general test to identify an incarnation of the Lord directly and indirectly empowered. Some incarnations mentioned above are almost plenary portions. For instance, the Kumaras are empowered with transcendental knowledge. Sri Narada is empowered with devotional service. Maharaj Prithu is an empowered incarnation with executive function. The Matsya incarnation is directly a plenary portion. So the innumerable incarnations of the Lord are manifested all over the universes constantly, without cessation, as water flows constantly from waterfalls. One more time, the translation. O Brahmanas, the incarnations of the Lord are innumerable, like rivulets flowing from inexhaustible sources of water. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sagara Raghunathamitam Tam Sajivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarunyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is a wonderful verse, and the purport is just as wonderful, because the holy names of Krishna are all potent. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stated that Krishna has invested all his transcendental potencies in his holy names. So simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna, one can avail one purport alone, we read so many names of Krishna. Rama, Narsimha, Varaha, Matsya, Kurma. So in simply reading this one purport alone, we can achieve so much purification of the consciousness. Just yesterday I was watching a video on YouTube. It was about a very great and exalted Vaishnava from the Gaudiya Math. His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, whose 100-year centennial was celebrated in 2021. So his followers and disciples made a little video, 10-minute video on YouTube. So I was watching that. There was no commentary, just music and images, just explaining briefly his life and his accomplishments. So they had these captions on the bottom throughout the video. And one of the captions was, "This planet Earth is so blessed, a blessed earth." So this really caught my attention, because in the Bhagavad Gita and throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that this material world of which planet Earth is a part of is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. It is a place of misery, and everything is temporary. It is said that this material world is Martyaloka, a place of death. Every day, so many people are dying all over the world. Some from old age, some from diseases, some from natural calamities, and many from acts of violence. But this is simply a small part of what we see, because in other species of life, so many thousands and tens and thousands of creatures are dying every day. The slaughterhouse industry alone, the meat industry, kills so many hundreds and thousands of animals throughout the world every single day. So there is considerable death in every direction. It is Bhakti-loka. Yet, in this video it was said, this planet Earth is very blessed. And why is it? It is because throughout history, so many great souls, those that have taken complete shelter of Lord Krishna, they walk on the surface of the earth, depositing the dust of their lotus feet. Tirthi kurvanti tirthani. People visit holy places to deposit their sins there and become purified of all their sinful reactions. Then how is it that these places are holy? It is said these places become holy because the great souls that are fully surrendered to Krishna have deposited their dust in these holy places. So last night as I was chanting Gayatri in the back there, I remembered in the summer of 2023, it is exactly where I was standing when His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj visited us, or for the last time, as we know it. And there was such a pandemonium. You could barely move in any direction. And by the time Maharaj made his way here, I could not even see him anymore. There were so many people packed into this temple room. So, we are so fortunate to be living on a planet such as planet Earth, even though it is a part of a system that is considered Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam, temporary and full of miseries. For one who has the proper vision, even a place such as earth can be truly blessed if we have the proper vision. Bhakti essentially is transformation of our vision. Our consciousness, which is covered over by the modes, influenced by the modes of material nature, when we practice the principles of bhakti, then our vision begins to change. So for one that considers this place a place of suffering, for a devotee it is actually a place of transcendental bliss, because he is seeing through the vision of the mercy of Krishna, Krishna Kripa. He is seeing so many opportunities to advance on the path of bhakti. It is said even the demigods and the heavenly planets, they wish to take birth on planet Earth so that they can advance on the path of bhakti towards Krishna. So what a wonderful vision this is, to see everything through the vision of the scriptures, through the vision of Krishna's mercy. Then even Dukhalema Shashvatam actually becomes a very transcendental place of opportunity for all of us. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated, Tatteru kampam sushamikshamano punjana evatma kritam vipakam kridva papurbir vidadan namaste jivetayo muktipade sarabha. Jai Shri Radha Kunja. Then one who is going through very difficult circumstances, reversals in life, and even though he may be going through such difficulties, if one can offer obeisances to the Lord with a grateful heart, thinking whatever suffering I am experiencing now is only because of my own past karma, but the Lord, because of His mercy, He has reduced my suffering considerably. But whatever suffering I am experiencing is only because of my past actions. One who can offer obeisances to the Lord with such a grateful heart, even in the midst of such difficulties, for him, liberation becomes a rightful claim. This is an extraordinary declaration by Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Because liberation, we have waited more lifetimes than we can possibly imagine. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna refused to fight because he was faced with the prospect of having to kill his own relatives, friends, possibly well-wishers, he said to Krishna, how can I do this? So many people are going to die. So many women are going to be widowed. So many children are going to become orphaned. I cannot do this. And Krishna spoke reverse, explaining to Arjuna that the soul is eternal and never dies. Natve vaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipa na chaivano bhavishyama sarve vayamata param. Never was there a time when you did not exist, nor I, nor all these kings and warriors on the battlefield. And never will be there a time in the future when any of us shall cease to exist. Essentially, we have been existing eternally from the beginning of time. Krishna tells in Arjuna, the Bhagavad Gita, that I am time. Time is one of Krishna's energies. And Krishna has no beginning. So therefore, time also has no beginning. Yet we say since the beginning of time. Time is anadi, without a beginning. So how long have we all been in this material world? It is inconceivable. We have been in this world for millions and millions of births and experienced old age, suffering and death millions and millions of times. It is inconceivably long period of time that we have been in this material world, going through so many different species of life. So where I live, even in the winter time, when I look out my window, I see people walking their dogs. And just this morning, as I was driving to the temple, I played my MP3 player in my vehicle. My Guru Maharaj was speaking a lecture he gave in the 90s. And he was saying, we have been in the bodies of cats and dogs in the past. We just don't remember these birds. Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, many births, both you and I have been through. You don't remember, but I remember them all. So the Lord is all-knowing. He remembers everything. We forget. But we have been in the body of a cat. We have been a dog in some life. We've been a fish in some life. A demigod. We've been in the human bodies many times. So we have been gone through this cycle so many times. Charvitana. It's said that the cows, they chew on grass and hay, they swallow it, and then they have the capacity to regurgitate it and chew it all over again. Chewing the chewed, and that's what we have been doing, lifetime after lifetime. Chewing the chewed. There is nothing new. So if we were compared to investors, all investors, they like to get a good return on their investment. So when we invest something, whatever we have invested, we want a bigger portion of it to come back. Yes? We invest some money, we want more money in return. But all of us, we have invested something that cannot be purchased by money. Time. Lifetime after lifetime, we have invested all our energy and all our time into doing whatever we did, hoping to get a bigger return. But what did we get in return? We only got one more life of birth, disease, old age, suffering, heartache, and finally death. So if we were compared to an investor, we would be the worst investors you can ever possibly imagine. Because not only did we not get a proper return on our investment, we do the same thing in every life, hoping that something will change. But all we get is one more life of suffering and misery. But in this life, somehow or other, we have come into this movement. And we are especially fortunate because we've come in the movement at a time when Lord Chaitanya just very recently appeared, 500 years ago. Srila Prabhupada in his purpose, he writes, just recently. Sometimes, friends and family members, we sit around and reminisce about old times. Oh, how it was like 40 years ago. And to us that seems like such a long time ago. But Srila Prabhupada in his purpose, he writes, just recently. Because in the context of eternity, we have been here more years, more yugas than we can even conceive of, can even imagine. So what is 500 years in the context of eternity? It's just a blink of an eye. Just recently. So we are most fortunate because we have come into the Sankirtan movement, and the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya is not just Sankirtan, it's Prem Sankirtan. It can award us the highest benediction, which is ecstatic love of Krishna, Krishna Prema. So we are the most fortunate people. So one who pays his obeisance is thinking in such a way, I have suffered through so many lifetimes, more lifetimes than I can possibly even imagine. But whatever is happening to me is only a result of past activities of my own self. But the Lord is so kind, He has still showered His grace upon me. For such a person, liberation becomes a rightful claim. One who lives his life in such a consciousness, at the end of his life, he returns home, back to Godhead. And that is the purpose of this life. Human life means to awaken love of Krishna in the heart. In the calendar, today's quote, Srila Prabhupada says, a wise person knows the difference between unhulled rice, a rice in which the grain is still present, versus an empty husk. So one who beats on an empty husk is simply wasting his time uselessly because there is nothing to be gained. Whereas the unhulled rice, when it's beaten, it can produce so many nice kernels of rice which can be cooked and consumed. So Srila Prabhupada says the purpose of everything, whether it is reading the Vedas or whatever we may be doing, is to bring us to a point where we can understand the purpose of human life is to surrender to Krishna. So many people, even to this day, they read the Vedas not understanding the goal of the Vedas is to bring us to the lotus feet of Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada says such people are uselessly wasting their time. So these purposes are designed with one purpose, to bring us to that point where we can begin to experience our eternal relationship with Krishna and awaken that love of Krishna, which is the potential for loving Krishna is in the heart of all living entities. So gradually through one chapter after another, through one canto after another, Sukadeva Goswami is bringing us to that point, canto 10, where we can fully relish the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So in that way, see, the chapters and cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are actually evolution of consciousness. From material consciousness, gradually the consciousness is purified and advanced until it gets to a stage, canto 10, where we can relish the pure pastimes of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said that these purports are his devotional ecstasies. So the ecstasies that Srila Prabhupada was experiencing, he expressed in the form of his purpose in Srimad Bhagavatam. So how fortunate are we? As that video of Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj stated, this planet truly is blessed, especially in Kali Yuga, because we have the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya, we have so many extraordinary Vaishnavas all over the world. We have Srimad Bhagavatam, and the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam to enlighten our lives and illuminate the path back home, back to Godhead. And Srila Prabhupada has very kindly also given us so many festivals to celebrate throughout the year. We have another festival coming up very shortly. So we truly are among the most fortunate people. In a class that Nitya Krishna Prabhu was giving very recently, he was discussing about how Krishna manifests all of these numerous universes throughout material creation. And he was saying, why is the Bhagavatam sharing all these details with us? See, even this galaxy we live in, it's called the Milky Way galaxy. It is so large, it is beyond the comprehension of our mind. Our minds cannot comprehend something like that. Even this one Milky Way galaxy, and this galaxy is just considered to be one of billions of galaxies in this universe, which itself is only one universe among so many. So why is the Bhagavatam describing these things to us? It's just to give us, it is just to vanquish any notion in us that we may possibly be the controllers. So when we think we are controllers and then we read Srimad Bhagavatam, that notion is completely destroyed. We cannot even control these little bodies that we reside in. Where is the question of controlling entire creation? So Srimad Bhagavatam awakens us to this reality and destroys the ignorance that's covering our consciousness. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyante vasudeva sarvam iti sa mahatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, one comes to this conclusion that Krishna, Vasudeva, Krishna, he is the cause of all causes. So somehow or other, we have come to that understanding. So now we must take full advantage of this understanding and surrender to Krishna and return back home, back to Godhead. I mentioned this in previous classes also. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said that we can finish this Krishna consciousness business in this one lifetime. So it is possible. And Jagadguru Prabhu, he has reminded us in so many classes that Srila Prabhupada was one of the, perhaps the first Acharya who said, you can return home back to God in this very lifetime itself. Because usually Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself is saying, after it takes many births and deaths. But Prabhupada is saying, you can do it in this lifetime. And Srila Saraswati Thakur has given us the instruction. Finish this Krishna consciousness business in this lifetime. So if it wasn't possible, the Acharya would not give such an instruction. If he has given such an instruction, it is possible to finish it in this one lifetime itself. In this verse, Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he also speaks about Matsya Avatar. The Matsya incarnation is directly a plenary portion. So when Matsya, the personality of Godhead, he incarnated as Matsya, it was such a magnificent incarnation. He incarnated as a fish. And do you know how big he was? He was 8 million miles long. Yes. Wow. Matsya Avatar was 8 million miles long. And yet, he was the most beautiful creature anybody could set his eyes on. When Putana manifested her original form, she was so big, but it was so ghastly. Everybody was scared by that form. Yet Matsya, he was millions of times bigger than Putana. Putana was what, a few miles long, tall. But Matsya Avatar is 8 million miles long. So he was considerably longer, taller than Putana. Yet when he manifested himself, he captured the hearts of all around him. So the Lord incarnates in so many different forms to captivate the hearts of men and women and everybody else. And Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, when they personally manifest on this earth, they give us what we are anchoring for, this highest perfection of ecstatic Krishna Prema. So Gaur Purnima is coming in just a few weeks. So we will all be getting ready to celebrate this, the appearance of the most munificent, the most merciful Lord Chaitanya, who is not an incarnation, Srila Prabhupada very clearly states, but who is directly Lord Krishna himself. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. Lord Chaitanya is non-different than Radha and Krishna. When Krishna appears in the mood and the complexion of Srimati Radharani, that is Lord Chaitanya. So we surrender under the lotus feet of our Acharyas who have kindly instructed us how to worship and serve Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just this past festival day, on the appearance day of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Nitya Krishna Prabhu made a very good point that to be attracted to Radha Kunja Bihari is natural, they are our principal deities, but unless we receive the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya, we cannot possibly approach Radha and Krishna. So by chanting these holy names, by following the instructions of Guru and Acharyas, by associating with devotees, we can develop that attachment to Lord Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which will deliver us the highest perfection. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. If anybody has any questions or comments, please share. Else, we can all head to Prasadam room and honor Krishna Prasadam. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.